Coming up on Vegas Nation Gameday, we preview the Raiders showdown against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And we'll see how former Raider Jacoby Ford is making an impact in Southern Nevada.
Just being able to connect with the youth just in general. I wish I could have connected more with people like me whenever I was growing up like that.
Our fast takes and smart coverage kicking off now.
This is Vegas Nation Gameday. Brought to you by Meineke and your local Meineke dealers. When you shop for quality, shop Meineke.
Our Vegas Nation truck has made it to Allegiant Stadium, where later today the Las Vegas Raiders will take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Happy Sunday and good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Vegas Nation Gameday. I'm your host, Cassie Soto. Joining me today in studio is Review Journal sports reporter Sam Gordon.
Thanks, Cassie. Well, the Raiders had 2 weeks to savor their big upset of the Kansas City Chiefs, but now it's back to work as the Raiders get ready to face six-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's right, Sam, and we are back to work as well with our fast takes and smart coverage. Our Vegas Nation crew has you covered at Allegiant Stadium and well beyond. And speaking of them, let's go ahead and go live to Allegiant, where our teammates Heidi Fang, Vinny Bonsignor, and Ed Graney are standing by with some storylines for today. Heidi, take it away.
Thank you, Cassie. It's Heidi Fang, Ed Graney, and Vinny Bonsignor. We are live at Allegiant Stadium. And before we talk about the Raiders against the Bucs, Vinny, let's take a look back at Kansas City. What went right there?
Well, and it's funny, given everything that happened this week, that seems like 2 months ago, not 2 weeks ago. But it is important to remember that the last time we did see the Raiders, they were playing their best game of the season by far. The offense was electric. Henry Ruggs was dynamic. They moved the ball at ease. The defense gave up only 8 points in the second half to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That's quite the achievement given this defense and the struggles that they've had. There was pass pressure, 24 quarterback pressures. That's almost equaled their entire total the previous 3 games. So, it was a great performance. But how do you recapture that after a bye week and then an entire week where your offensive line wasn't available to practice? Obviously, Jonathan Abrams isn't going to play. Trent Brown isn't going to play. So it seems like that was such a long time ago. But for the Raiders, they got to just remember that's what we did the last time out. Let's try to recapture that, even in spite of some pretty unusual circumstances this week.
All right, Ed, are they going to be able to recapture that against the Bucs? What do they need to do here?
They have to beat probably the best defense in the NFL right now. They have to run the ball. Not many people run the ball against Tampa Bay. They've got to move the ball. It's very difficult to do so. And defensively, they've got to find a way to pressure Brady, like Vinny said they did against Mahomes. It's not going to be easy. Tampa Bay last week looked like the Super Bowl contender many thought they were going to be. It comes down to the defense of Tampa Bay. You've got to be able to move the ball and score on them.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us. We'll be back here with you a bit later. Back to you in the studio.
Heidi, thank you. Now for our third storyline, Sam, COVID-19 is impacting the Raiders like never before. The team had a pretty big scare earlier this week, as Vinny mentioned.
Only in 2020, right, Cassie? And Trent Brown, the offensive tackle, starting right tackle, wasn't wearing his tracking device, his COVID tracking device, and they couldn't really tell who he was in contact with. So as a result, the entire offensive line kept out of practice. Jonathan Abram was also kept out of practice. As Vinny said, he's not going to be able to play. So just kind of a weird situation. And coronavirus is, it's been something the Raiders have been dealing with all year, right? With the fines, the Darren Waller Foundation event, been a very, very tough go with the Raiders and the coronavirus. That continues, but fortunately for that team, they will have most of their starting offensive line, Colton Miller, Rodney Hudson, Denzel Good. Those guys will all be back, and they're going to need that line to protect against, as Ed talked about, one of the best defensive units in the NFL. Just a very unfortunate situation that they weren't able to practice in full this week against that defense.
That's right. Well, we'll dive into that a little bit later on. Now, let's go ahead and go to Review Journal multimedia journalist Leandre Fox for our first look at social media. Our social media is sponsored by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable.
Good morning, Raider Nation. My name is Leandre Fox, here to do what everybody does when we wake up, and that is to check on some social media. First up, it's been quite a week, hasn't it? The entire starting offensive line group was sent home after Trent Brown's positive COVID-19 test. And from there, it all spiraled to the point of Las Vegas losing the primetime slot. So let's check in with Raider posts with a meme that perfectly captures the feeling of the week. You might have seen the original with the dog and this coffee sitting in the flames, and now we have the Raider rusher sitting in those familiar flames. It's fine. Everything is fine. We're still going to play today. Now, as teams roll into Las Vegas, they've gone for the movie references on their social channels. The Saints with The Hangover and the Bills with the Ocean's 11 route. The Bucs, however, they're going all in with a pirate, a buccaneer, if you will, at the poker table. Of course, he wins in the video, but the Raiders will look to make Tom Brady and the Buccaneers fold on the field. Now, I also noticed while scrolling through the socials that Raider Nation had some pretty colorful language for the newest Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Mr. Helmetgate himself, wide receiver Antonio Brown. Lastly, happy birthday to Raiders superfan Gorilla Rilla, who is having a socially distanced birthday bash at the Westgate with former Raiders head coach Hugh Jackson. Cassie, back to you.
Leandre, thank you. Raiders fans, if you're showing your team spirit, we want to see it, and we'll even give you some free stuff for it. It's the Vegas Nation Fantastic Photo Contest. Just post your photo with the hashtag VNWeek7, and you're entered. The winners will be selected on Monday, and here are some of the photos we received from fans this past week. Sam, let's start with this cute little pup here. What do you think?
I think he's quite comfortable, enjoying his afternoon. That looks fantastic. Not a better way to spend an afternoon, in my opinion.
That is good. Let's see what else we've got here on deck.
Ooh.
Raiders family here, Pirates. So I asked this off air. Is that just Raiders casuals dressing for the day, or are we getting ready for Halloween here?
That's the thing about Raiders fans, Cassie. I don't think you ever really know, right? Fantastic costumes. They look good, like they're ready for the game and for next weekend.
Looks good, looks good. They've got some decals there on that truck. I don't know if it's as good as the Vegas Nation truck.
Not quite.
But it's pretty good.
Close.
Okay, we've got this guy here. This is a little frightening, Sam.
Cassie, I'm shaking in my shoes. I am scared. Is that Pinhead? Was that what he goes by?
I mean, I don't know the movie reference. I think there's a movie reference here.
I think there is too.
But I'm going to go, yeah, Pinhead makes sense here. Okay, yep, Hellraiser here, we're being told in my ear.
I'm very scared. I'm
yes,
very scared.
I am scared. Next one, please. Here we go. Here we go. Let's end here on a positive note.
Classic, right? The Derek Carr jersey and the Raiders mask. If only the Raiders offensive linemen would have been following suit and this guy wearing their mask, they would have been able to practice this week.
Trent Brown, take note here. Let's go. And one more. Look at this selfie. That's a winner.
Yeah, the Raiders cap, the Raiders shirt in the casino, enjoying the weekend, enjoying life. Doesn't get much better than that.
Love it, love it. Well, earlier this week, I spoke with Allegiant Stadium insider Mick Akers about Las Vegas hosting a couple of big NFL events. Mick, Las Vegas, as we know it, was supposed to host the Pro Bowl in January, but because of the unknown of the coronavirus, the league went ahead and canceled that event. They're going to do something virtually, I believe, but the league has promised that Las Vegas will get another shot at hosting the Pro Bowl. Isn't that right?
Yeah, so, with trying to get the fans involved, pushing it from 2021, so the end of this season, till 2022. So, just got to wait another year. But, hopefully by then everything will be kind of back to normal. Would imagine they want all 65,000 seats filled. So, Pro Bowl in end of January, it's probably going to be around then. It's usually when it is. So we'll have that, one of the, the league's marquee events. Then you wait a couple more months, and then we have the NFL draft, which, multiple days, obviously big events, all the event center around that. They still have the Bellagio fountains involved in that plan. They still want to have it at the Caesars Forum area. So, everything as far as what we heard it was supposed to be this year, it's still on board for 2022. So, it's shaping up to be one of the bigger years in Las Vegas history, I think, as far as events goes.
Up next on Vegas Nation Game Day, Heidi Fang has an exclusive interview with Sunday Night Football's Mike Tirico. We'll be right back.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz, your weekly show for all things Raiders.
I'm being completely honest with you. I'm tired of being disrespected. So there was no question I was going to play this year.
From practice to game day.
We look more dynamic. We look more hungry.
My goal is to catch at least 60 balls this year.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Get the Vegas Nation podcast 3 days a week. All things Raiders, all week long. The Vegas Nation podcast, powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Now 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Raiders analysis.
Mark Davis looking out for the fans.
Interviews. How do you look at this season coming up?
I'm going to be a much better player.
NFL talk.
The Cowboys are not a legit contender either.
They are, my friend.
They're not.
Find all our podcasts on VegasNation.com and hit subscribe. Raiders, fast takes, smart coverage.
Field Pass is sponsored by Scenic Brewing Company, your neighborhood brewery and sports bar.
It's Heidi Fang. For this week's Field Pass, we bring you somebody who knows his way around the field and the booth. Mike Tirico has covered it all, from the Olympics to Monday Night Football, where he shared the booth with Raiders head coach John Gruden. Now, NBC Sports was originally expected to air the Sunday Night Football contest between the Raiders and the Buccaneers. However, that game was flexed. So still, I want to share this interview with you with Mike Tirico and I, where he started off talking about John Gruden's return to coaching.
My man's going to be the king of Vegas here. He'll be as big out in Vegas as Elvis was back in the day. It's a perfect fit. I really think it's a perfect fit, not just for the franchise, but for the city as well. And I think the franchise and the city are a great connection, and so is Oakland. Look, let's not get this wrong. Oakland had an unbelievable connection with its franchise, like very few cities ever had, right? But if there's any place for the Raiders to kind of grow and be this next generation of a great connection of city, fan base, and organization, it's Vegas and the Raiders. And I think John's the perfect front guy for it, because it's not like it's too far off the beaten path to see John embracing this role of face of the franchise, and a little bit of the toughness and the celebrity and a little bit of the attitude that a team from Vegas would have. The only shame of this season is that the fans of Vegas can't get in there to physically create a home field and to get behind this team.
You worked with John Gruden, obviously, for years in the Monday Night Football booth, so you know about the energy that he's going to bring to this game. It's the first time he's meeting the Buccaneers since he coached them. As a coach, what do you think that this feeling would be like for Gruden, knowing how you know him on such a personal level?
Well, it's definitely knock 3 times if you're with me and do you love football kind of game, for John. This is about so much of what he's been about over the years. As I'm sure a lot of folks know, obviously the Raider connection and the Bucs connection as a coach. But John went back to Tampa after he stopped coaching the Bucs and was living there. So he's really been a big part of the community. He and his wife, Cindy, have been a part of so many things in that Tampa area. He really has deep roots in the organization, and even going back to his dad being a part of the Bucs organization, his dad helping the current Bucs coach get his first opportunity in the coaching world. It's a great, strange story that you have there. So there are so many different emotional pulls here. John's really great about compartmentalizing and putting that stuff to the side. But there's no doubt that playing the Bucs and going up against the Bucs is a little bit of inspiration and a terrific backdrop for this game.
That was Mike Tirico. Now back to you in the studio.
Now let's flip the field, where our own Ed Graney gets the scoop on this week's opponent from someone who covers the other side.
Flip the field with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to go live to Florida, where Greg Auman, who covers the Buccaneers for the Athletics, with us. Greg, thanks for taking a few minutes. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Hope you're doing
Awesome.
well.
Was last week the Tampa Bay Buccaneer team that a lot of people picked to go to the Super Bowl preseason?
I think it's the closest thing to it. I mean, that's the best they've played, especially on defense. The last 3 quarters there, I think they held Green Bay to 57 yards on 41 plays. Just dominated in a way I haven't seen them since I've been on the field. Very impressive.
Yeah, and before the season, Tom Brady was rumored to a lot of places. Who would get him? Where would he go? Vegas was mentioned, and then he ends up in Tampa Bay. One, how's he been to deal with? And what you knew about Tom Brady coming in as a player, how much has he changed?
Yeah, obviously we get kind of a smaller dose of him as a result of COVID. We're just kind of getting him in Zoom interviews once a week during the week and then post game here and there. But no, he's been fine. I think it's something where, he's dealing with new surroundings for the first time in 20 years. Obviously knew everything around him in New England, knew the media, knew where he lived, where to go to dinner, who his coaches were, who his teammates were. There's a lot of new things, especially as a 43-year-old. But I think he's really come to embrace the team, has taken time to get to know everybody on the roster. And obviously it helps when you can win together. That's probably the best way to build chemistry with a new team is to pull out the kind of wins they've done here in these first 6 games.
Finally, Greg, let me ask you about this. You mentioned the defense. They were terrific against Aaron Rodgers. I think them and the Steelers right now are kind of neck and neck. What makes that defense go? They're terrific against the run. I think the Raiders, they have issues, obviously, with the offensive line this week with COVID, even if they're completely healthy. I think it's a tough go there with that defensive line. What makes them go in terms of defense?
Yeah, you mentioned the run defense. I mean, they were a really good run defense last year, and they made a point to bring back that front 7 intact, paid a lot of money to bring Shaq Barrett back and Jason Pierre-Paul and Ndamukong Suh. The progress is probably that young secondary. I mean, all 5 DBs they play are 24 or younger, but they've played really well. They've made huge plays when they've had to. Jamel Dean comes up with a pick 6 against Aaron Rodgers when he hasn't thrown a pick all year. Carlton Davis has 3 interceptions this year. Antoine Winfield is playing really well as a rookie safety. Jordan Whitehead, the other safety, is playing well. So as young as they are, I think they're starting to find themselves in this Todd Bowles defense and are really making plays. And to talk to them, they feel like they're just scratching the surface. They'll get a lot better, too.
Well, there you have it. Thanks, Gary. We really appreciate it. That's Gary Allman from The Athletic, covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's Flip the Field with the opponent. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ed. Now, Sam here has been digging through the numbers and has come up with some insights on today's game. Sam.
Thanks, Cassie. Despite all of Tampa Bay's talent on offense, and that's an offense that is set to add 4-time All-Pro wideout Antonio Brown in a couple weeks, like Gary said, the Buccaneers' strength is their defense. They cover downfield, they get after the quarterback, and yes, they stop the run. The Buccaneers boast the best run defense in the NFL, allowing opposing ball carriers a mere 3.0 yards per carry. That's even better than their mark of 3.3 yards per carry last season, which also led the NFL. And what makes that statistic even more impressive is the brigade of ball carriers the Buccaneers have faced this season. Alvin Kamara, 48 yards on 15 carries. How about Christian McCaffrey? 59 yards on 18 carries. And then Melvin Gordon. He's pretty good, isn't he, Cassie?
Yeah, I think so.
Not against Tampa Bay, 8 carries for 26 yards. And that Aaron Jones guy from the Green Bay Packers, 10 carries for 15 yards, his fewest during a game in his career in which he had double-digit attempts. Opponents have had so little success running the ball against Tampa Bay, they're stopped trying altogether. They've totaled 130 rushing attempts in 6 games against the Buccaneers. That is the fewest among teams who have played 6 games this season. The Raiders have sought to establish Josh Jacobs all season, but they rank a mere 22nd in yards per carry at 4.1, and Jacobs is averaging 3.6 yards a pop after averaging 4.8 yards per carry as a rookie in 2019. The numbers suggest he could struggle again Sunday. We'll see this afternoon at Allegiant Stadium.
Some great numbers there, Sam. Thank you so much. Well, moving on now, the Raiders Community Outreach never takes a bye week. Diane Long, wife of Raiders legend Howie Long, and the mother of 2 sons who played in the NFL, hosted a virtual discussion last week for parents of youth football players in Southern Nevada. It was part of the Raiders' Return to Play Parents Clinic. Here's just what some of the advice she had for parents.
Always be honest and be supportive, but try to steer your kid towards a realistic expectation. You never want to extinguish a dream. And a couple of times we've been wrong with our kids, steering them to schools to where we didn't think they'd be able to achieve a certain level, but we were wrong. So bottom line is listen to your kid. Try to really ferret through what their real dream is, and then help them navigate from there. An iconic sportscaster, Leslie Visser, years ago, I heard her speak, and something resonated with me, and it was that pressure is a privilege. And it is a privilege to even be in a conversation about, having kids who are, first of all, focused enough to decide that they want to pursue sports at the next level, because it's not easy, and not all kids start when they're like 6, 7, 8 years old, but at whatever level you jump into football, you are committed. I mean, you're physically active, you're part of a team, you're collaborating, you take coaching, it's teamwork, and teamwork is an invaluable lesson.
When we come back, we'll take a look at today's betting line, but first we're going to challenge you with this bit of trivia. NFL Trivia is presented by Attack Law. The best defense is a good offense. Who started at quarterback for the Buccaneers the first time they played the Raiders? Was it A, Gary Huff, B, Steve Spurrier, C, Doug Williams, or D, Steve Young?
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz, your weekly show for all things Raiders.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm tired of being disrespected. So there was no question I was going to play this year.
From practice to game day.
We look more dynamic. We look more hungry.
My goal is to catch at least 60 balls this year.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Get the Vegas Nation podcast 3 days a week. All things Raiders, all week long. The Vegas Nation podcast, powered by the Las Vegas Review Journal. Now 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Raiders analysis.
Mark Davis looking out for the fans.
Interviews.
How do you look at this season coming up?
I'm going to be a much better player.
NFL talk.
The Cowboys are not a legit contender
paper,
either.
They are, my friend.
They're not.
Find all our podcasts on VegasNation.com and hit subscribe. Raiders, fast takes, smart coverage.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day. If you've made it through the bye week and into week 7 of the NFL season, you might need an adult beverage, and J.R. Starkis has a Vegas Nation cocktail just for you.
Welcome back, Vegas Nation. J.R. Starkis with Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, ready for your week 7 cocktail. This drink I've called XO Marks the Spot. We're using Mount Gay Black Barrel Rum, Patron XO Cafe, Bailey's Vanilla, and a little bit of almond milk. That can be regular milk if you so desire. It's kind of our version of an espresso martini, but without any espresso in it. So we're gonna need Mount Gay Black Barrel, 1.5 ounces. We're gonna also add 3/4 of an ounce of the Patron XO Cafe, and 3/4 of an ounce of the Bailey's Vanilla. Give it kind of like that little creaminess that we're looking for. This could be desserty if you want it to be. It could also be brunchy if you want. Then we're going to add 1 ounce of almond milk. Like I said, it could be regular milk or any kind of milk that you like. And we're going to shake this drink with ice. Add a couple scoops here. Okay, we're going to strain this over fresh ice in a rocks glass. So we'll add some ice to our rocks glass here. All right, and then we'll strain right over this fresh ice. Beautiful. The garnish. will be just a few chocolate-covered espresso beans, or frankly, as many as you like. And there you have it. XO marks the spot.
JR, amazing as always. Thank you so much. Now, our Adam Hill and Vinny Bonsignor give us their take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the challenge they present for the Raiders.
Yeah, thanks, Cassie. A big day for the Raiders with the Buccaneers coming to town, and it's not your grandmother's Buccaneers, Vinny. It's a new era in Tampa with Tom Brady, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, leading the way. He is the big focus, but he's not alone on that team.
No, this is a good team coming to town. They've got a slew of weapons offensively and obviously defensively. I was crunching the numbers defensively, and man, with the Raiders' offensive line going through the week that they went through, yeah, it looks likely that they're going to get at least 4 of their starters back. Trent Brown is officially out, but 22 sacks, 15 sacks off of blitzes, which is #1 in the league. They've forced 6 interceptions off of blitzes. They bring it from all angles, from all levels of the defense, not to mention they've got a front 4 that's able to really get after it. So Tom Brady goes into a good situation with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, shrewdly enough. Tom doing his homework and figuring out what the best situation for him was. And the Raiders, given the week that they've had, the work is cut out for them to try to figure out or carve out a path that'll lead them to victory. It's going to be a tough order for them.
So many weapons for Tom Brady. You talk about Evans and Godwin and Gronkowski and Cameron Brate, and in the backfield with Ronald Jones, who's heating up. Leonard Fournette hasn't even been there. Now he's back. So many weapons for him to work with, but it really is about that defense to me. You got Levante David, Devin White, you've got Jason Pierre-Paul. All these guys have put so much pressure on the quarterback. And Ndamukong Suh, you even forget about he's even there.
And by the way, when you think about Gronkowski, all of a sudden he's Gronkowski again. And he looked fantastic on Sunday against the Packers. He made some wild catches, just a unique player, and all of a sudden he's rounding into form just in time to come play the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium.
Yep, Gronkowski really stepped up. He's finding his rhythm in that offense, and we saw a Gronk spike again last week. The Raiders will try to avoid seeing a Gronk spike here at Allegiant Stadium. That'll do it for us. Back to you in the studio, Cassie.
Thank you, Adam. Well, Raiders fans may remember Jacoby Ford as the wide receiver who holds the team record for the most touchdowns off of kick returns. Now, 7 years after playing his last game with the Silver and Black, Ford is ready to make a difference. He's still a difference maker, this time off the field. Ford spoke to the Canyon Springs High School football team as part of the Raiders' virtual elite chats recently. He spoke about that experience with us, and Canyon Springs head coach Gus McNair discussed the positive impact it had on his team.
It was great to hear Jacoby speak. He had a wealth of knowledge to share with the kids. Even myself, I was able to pick up some things as well, just listening to him speak, and that just really encouraged me as well, and just about staying tuned in and focused, and just the hard work and the drive. Even when you get mentally tired, even when you get physically tired, keep pushing, keep working. There's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. No matter how dark it seems, there's going to be light there.
But just being able to connect with the youth just in general, I wish I could have connected more with people like me whenever I was growing up like that. I was just trying to relate to them as, the way that I know how to relate to them, because I'm still young. I still know how to I know how to talk to them. I'm going to be myself always, no matter what. And just the experience, just to have them listen to me, and just how they were just they were locked in, and and afterwards they asked a good amount of questions. It was more questions than I thought they would, but it's always good it's been fun to be back doing stuff with the Raiders. I can't stress that enough. You guys gave me an opportunity to live out a dream since I was 6 years old. So, to be able to just go back and tell my stories of stuff that I went through, and hopefully these kids can learn from any mistakes that I did or things I didn't do as well, that you can do even better. And, I just try to tell them that, just try to be great.
Today's game kicks off at 1:05 p.m., so you still have plenty of time to place your bets. For those who need some help, let's go to Review Journal sports betting reporter Todd Dewey. Todd, what's happening with the line today?
Happy NFL Sunday, Cassie. The line on this game was off the betting board in Las Vegas from Wednesday night to Saturday morning after the entire Raiders O-line was placed on the COVID list. oddsmakers put it back on the board yesterday when they were confident the game would be played. Tampa Bay went back up as a 3.5-point favorite over the Raiders, and it climbed as high as 5. Right now, as you can see behind me, Tampa Bay is a 4.5-point favorite over the Raiders, and the total is 52 here at the BetMGM book at the Mirage, where sharp bettors and the betting public are both backing the Buccaneers in this one. An oddsmaker told me that bettors usually love to load up on teams coming off a bye, like the Raiders, who of course are off that huge upset of the Super Bowl champion Chiefs. But Tampa Bay, of course, is also off a big win over Green Bay, and bettors expect their improved defense to have the edge on the Raiders linemen after they didn't practice all week. A pro sports bettor I spoke with said he likes Tampa Bay in this one. A note on the total, the Raiders have yet to go under this season. The total has dipped down to 51.5 at a couple places around town, but the Raiders have a 4-0-1 over-under record. Best of luck, everybody.
Todd, thank you. Well, remember, you can read all about the betting action, including Todd's recaps and a live betting blog by our own Jim Barnes at reviewjournal.com.
We've still got plenty of ground to cover on Vegas Nation Game Day. We'll hear what Tampa Bay quarterback Tom Brady has to say about playing the Raiders. We'll preview next week's matchup between UNLV and UNR at Allegiant Stadium. And when we come back, our own Kevin Cannon shows us how some of our local heroes got a taste of the ballgame. Don't go anywhere.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz, your weekly show for all things Raiders.
I'm being completely honest here. I'm tired of being disrespected. So there was no question I was going to play this year.
From practice to game day.
We look more dynamic. We look more hungry.
My goal is to catch at least 60 balls this year.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Get the Vegas Nation podcast 3 days a week. All things Raiders, all week long. The Vegas Nation podcast, powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Now 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Raiders analysis.
Mark Davis looking out for the fans.
Interviews.
How do you look at this season coming up?
I'm going to be a much better player.
NFL talk.
The Cowboys are not a legit contender
on paper,
either.
They are, my friend.
They're not.
Find all our podcasts on VegasNation.com and hit subscribe. Raiders, fast takes, smart coverage.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day, presented by Meineke and your local Meineke dealers. When you shop for quality, shop Meineke.
NFL Trivia is presented by Attack Law. The best defense is a good offense. The answer is B, Steve Spurrier. The future Florida Gators coach threw 2 picks and was sacked 5 times as the Raiders crushed the Bucs in 1976. You like that trivia there, Sam?
That was a new one for me.
There you go.
I had no idea.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day. I'm Cassie Soto here with Sam Gordon. Sam, the fans won't be at Allegiant Stadium today, but this week, some fans had the game day experience delivered to them.
That's right. NBC, which was supposed to broadcast today's game, brought the SNF Grill to town to bring a taste of game day to some of our local heroes, and our own Kevin Cannon checked it out.
Kevin Cannon here. I'm at Intermountain Healthcare San Martin Oncology Clinic in Las Vegas, and we are following the Sunday Night Football Grill as they go to multiple locations across the valley ahead of Sunday's game. I'm here with Rick Hewitt, who's driving the Sunday Night Football grill across the country to every host city in the NFL. Rick, what's that like?
You know, it's been really amazing going all across this nation. You know, as you know, NBC's been celebrating and supporting local communities throughout all of the 2020 NFL season. And what we do is we bring our Sunday Night Football grill, which is our mobile concession stand, and we're celebrating hospital workers, frontline workers in each host city. The Sunday Night Football grill is here to celebrate and bring that stadium experience to them, which includes delicious free meals and football-like experiences. You know, we always celebrate the workers leading up until the game. And of course, since we're not part of the game day experience, not essential, we just like to support them before the game.
Well, I think that it's exciting to have the NFL and the Raiders recognize healthcare workers in a crisis like this.
I think it's so good to just have that interconnectedness with the community. I think that it's good that, you know, the Raiders are out here and that they're making a difference in our community. They're making themselves known. It's going to be a good thing.
Oh, this has been awesome. We really appreciate the NFL and the Raiders coming out here, feeding us today. We greatly appreciate it. We're excited to have the Raiders here in Vegas and the NFL. So, you know, Clark County Fire is very appreciative to have you guys out here today. I think the Raiders are going to win. Score prediction: I'm anticipating a high-scoring game. You know, the Raiders have been putting up some points, but obviously Tom Brady and the Bucs, they got a high-powered offense. I'm gonna go 34-31 Raiders.
College stop over on for St. Martin Hospitals over on the west side was great. Got to see some doctors and nurses there who put in the first responders. We did. This morning we went over to the fire department over on East Flamingo, got to feed those guys and take care of them, which was a great treat for us. And then today we're at 3 Square, which is of course the unit that feeds our city day in and day out. It's a great opportunity to get back to them. There you go, you're welcome, Bob.
That was awesome. Well, the community outreach continues, Sam, as the Raiders paid a virtual visit to some local Special Olympic athletes.
Punter A.J. Cole, fullback Alec Ingold, quarterback Marcus Mariota, and defensive end Carl Nassib took part in a recent conditioning workout.
That's right. In addition, the Raiders were recently honored by the Special Olympics as the winner of the Philanthropic Volunteer of the Year Award. Now, Sam, let's go ahead and get a status check. The Raiders defense was already missing a few weapons, but they might be a little bit more shorthanded today.
Yeah, well, we know Jonathan Abram isn't going to play as part of the COVID-19 fallout from the Trent Brown situation. Defensive tackle Malik Collins is questionable with his shoulder. And defensive end Carl Nassib has battled a toe injury all week. It looks like he's going to play. So that defensive line isn't fully healthy, not necessarily where they want it to be, but they're likely to have Carl Nassib at the very least. And then Keyshawn Nixon, nickel or dime corner, he is out as well. So we'll see what happens with that secondary back there. But they will not have Nixon.
Well, and for the third straight game, the Raiders offense will be without rookie receiver Bryan Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to be a real game changer, and we saw some of that potential early in the season where he was getting downfield a little bit, making some plays, making some catches in traffic, but he has been limited for the most part this year with that foot ankle injury that he injured against the New England Patriots. The other receivers have stepped up for sure. You have Nelson Aguilar, you have a Henry Ruggs healthy, but we have yet to see that receiving core intact completely, and I know the Raiders are anxious to get him back when they can.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let's go across the league now, Sam. The Giants and the Eagles got this week's football action started. The NFC least, I'm hearing some people call it. That showdown there, Sam. What do you got for us?
There's going to be believe it or not, Cassie, there will be a playoff team coming out of that division. But 22-21, Philadelphia wins. Carson Wentz, the much maligned Carson Wentz, Cassie, he has struggled all year. There's no doubt about that, but he was excellent in this game, going for 359 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown pass to Boston Scott in the final minute on a swing route. He throws a dime, Philadelphia gets back on track. And in that division, I mean, you never know what can happen. They win a couple games there. I mean, maybe 6-9-1 because they have that tie. 7-8-1 gets into the playoffs. Somebody's coming out of the playoffs in that division. I think it's going to be Philly. They, to me, have the best quarterback in the division with Wentz as much as he struggled this year. So we'll see about that.
Right. And while we wait for the Bucs and Raiders to kick off, a pair of unbeaten teams get together in Nashville.
Yeah, absolutely. You have the Tennessee Titans, fresh off of their AFC Championship berth a year ago, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, for my money, Cassie, they to me look like the best team in the NFL right now. They have a passing game that's clicking on all cylinders with Ben Roethlisberger. You know they can run the ball with John Connor. That defense is phenomenal. They get after the passer, too, just like Tampa Bay's does. They stuff the run, and they make plays on the back end. So two contenders in the AFC, no doubt about that. Either one of these teams is definitely can make a run in the playoffs and make a run towards the Super Bowl. So we'll see. Very, very interesting matchup. Somebody's going to be undefeated, right? And somebody's going to lose that game.
Somebody has to lose.
Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest moves of the NFL offseason was Tom Brady leaving New England for Tampa Bay. This week, the 6-time Super Bowl winner, our producer Paul loved putting that in there, spoke about his team's matchup against the Raiders.
They got a great history of football players. Al Davis, just one of the pioneers, you know, of in the history of the NFL. And whenever you play them, you always kind of feel that. You know, I remember we used to go to the old Oakland Coliseum, and you sit down, you look at that guide, and it shows you all the different players they've had and their contributions to the NFL. And it's pretty neat playing against them. So they know they moved on to a different place, but they're still the Raiders, and they're having a hell of a season. They got a lot of talented players. So it's going to be a tough, hard-nosed game. They're obviously well coached, got a great staff. You know, I think got a great quarterback, and they got a good offense, good running back, good tight end. You know, a lot of speed at receiver. They got really good young defense, good guys in the secondary, really athletic guys. You know, at linebacker, and you know and a lot of high motor guys at defensive line. So it's a really good football team, and we got our work cut out for us, and we got to play better on the road. I think that's something that's a big point of emphasis for us.
Well, we've heard from Tom Brady, but when we return, we'll hear what the Raiders had to say. Don't go anywhere.
Well, like I said, I'm really proud of our team. Our coaches and our trainers have done a great job, and there are protocols that are updated during this process, and safety is paramount.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz, your weekly show for all things Raiders.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm tired of being disrespected. So there was no question I was going to play this year.
From practice to game day.
We look more dynamic. We look more hungry.
My goal is to catch at least 60 balls this year.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Get the Vegas Nation podcast 3 days a week. All things Raiders, all week long. The Vegas Nation podcast, powered by the Las Vegas Review Journal. Now 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Raiders analysis.
Mark Davis looking out for the fans.
Interviews.
How do you look at this season coming up?
I'm going to be a much better player.
NFL talk.
The Cowboys are not a legit contender
paper,
either.
They are, my friend.
They're not.
Find all our podcasts on VegasNation.com and hit subscribe. Raiders, fast takes, smart coverage.
Raiders Replay is sponsored by De Castro Verde Law Group. Our motivation is you.
The Raiders will face the Buccaneers this week, which will make for the first time head coach Jon Gruden has faced his former team since he split ways with Tampa Bay in 2008. Jon Gruden was also the head coach of the Buccaneers when they defeated the Raiders at Super Bowl 37. The final score 48-21. That win occurred in the season following Gruden being traded from the Raiders. Bonds between the two teams run strong. In addition to Jon Gruden, 5 of the Raiders' current coaches were also a part of the Buccaneers organization for several years. Raiders defensive end Carl Nassib last played for the Buccaneers as well. Overall, the all-time regular season series between these two teams has been dominated by the Raiders, who hold 7 wins over the Bucs, 2 in their series. When Carr steps onto the field this week, it will mark his 100th career start under center for the Raiders. The last time he and the Raiders met the Bucs in 2016, the game went into overtime. The game took place in Florida, and the Raiders walked away with a 30-24 victory. In the contest, Carr threw 513 yards and set a franchise record for most yards thrown in a single game. At the time, he also became the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to throw for over 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions in a single game. Carr's 379 passing yards in the second half of that game and overtime are the most by any quarterback since at least 1991. And that'll do it for this moment in Raiders history. We'll be back next week.
After a big victory over the Chiefs and a week off, the Raiders had plenty of things to say. Here's a little sample.
Well, like I said, I'm really proud of our team. Our coaches and our trainers have done a great job, and there are protocols that are updated during this process, and safety is paramount. Everybody's safety is paramount. And I'm proud of the NFL, proud to be in this league right now playing during this pandemic. So we're going to have to do what we have to do to make sure we keep our players safe, and that's what we're doing. But I do believe there's a good chance those men will be back soon.
To be honest with you, we haven't changed our routine at all. Obviously, our numbers are down a little bit, but as far as our practice, we continue to business as usual and next man up mentality. So nothing's really changed. We've had situations where guys have gone down this season. We've lost some players. We started Ty Williams. We started the season losing a wide receiver. We've lost players, and that's just the mindset that we want our players to have, and offensive players to have. Everyone's got to be prepared to go at any time, and opportunities come in a lot of different ways. But we just prepare the same.
Well, Sam, I think it's about that time to go ahead and take another look at social media. Our social media is sponsored by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. First up, Sam, the NFL Update is sharing news about Jay Glazer, about what the league might do to the Raiders after the latest COVID scare.
Looking at 350 racks, Cassie, that's the fine that the Raiders are in line to face, and a possible draft pick, right? Another coronavirus violation. Jon Gruden has maintained that the team is doing its best to possibly fight this coronavirus, and it really just doesn't seem that's the case. Trent Brown, again, test positive, was not wearing his monitor, the tracking monitor, and as a result, the Raiders couldn't practice, and that is a big no-no. The Raiders' offensive line could not practice, and not a good look. Not a good look for the franchise that has already, again, as we talked about at the top of the show, struggled with some coronavirus concerns throughout the course of the season. Again, $350,000, a possible draft pick. You do not want to lose draft picks as Jon Gruden and Mike Mayock look to continue this rebuild and get this thing turned around.
Exactly. Well, meanwhile, we have this video from Los Raiders in which Raiders fullback Alec Ingold asked a very important question here, Sam. Felicidades, Alec Ingold in Alexa Lederman.
Yeah.
That's a shiny ring right there, Sam. I know you've been with your lady for quite a minute. Are we going to expect a video like this soon?
You never know, Cassie. You never know. I might be following in Mr. Ingold's footsteps pretty soon. We'll see.
There you go.
We'll see. I can't give anything. I can't give too much away, right? But we'll see. We'll see. That is some positive news in light of the COVID-19 outbreak that the Raiders experienced this week. So congratulations to Alec Ingold and his lucky leg.
Well, when you get yours up, we're definitely going to show it on here on Vegas Nation Gameday.
Okay. I'll make sure you hold me to that.
All right. Well, now it is time to get our own Ed Graney involved. He has some hot takes on what Derek Carr and his teammates will face today.
Thanks, Cassie. Hey, everyone. Well, here we are with the Raiders coming off that huge win at Kansas City and rested from a bye week, only to now welcome Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And while much of the pregame coverage is going to center around the 6-time Super Bowl champion quarterback and those preseason rumors he might have ended up in Las Vegas, he won't be the main key in what occurs at Allegiant Stadium. This isn't about Tampa Bay's offense, it's about the defense, which right now is battling Pittsburgh for the top NFL unit. Derek Carr and the Raiders are about to face a defense that is skilled and fast at most every position. And given this week's COVID-19 scare when it came to those blocking for Carr, it could be an even tougher assignment than originally thought. Think about it. Tampa Bay is just the second team in the last 2 decades to have 10-plus takeaways, 20-plus sacks, and having allowed fewer than 70 yards rushing on average over the season's first 6 games. Who was the other team to do so? Pittsburgh Steelers, 2008 Super Bowl champions. That is astoundingly good defense by the Buccaneers. How prepared must Carr and those up front be? According to Associated Press numbers are Josh Dubow, Tampa Bay has blitzed the second most times of any NFL team this season. On those plays, the Bucs have only allowed 4.6 yards per dropback and just 64.2 quarterback rating. Carr, on the other hand, has 133 passer rating against the blitz this season, 3rd best in the NFL. He's actually been terrific the last few years in such situations, meaning something has to give. Now, it's better than good news for Las Vegas that its starting front, other than right tackle Trent Brown, should be available given the COVID situation. That's right. Colton Miller, Gabe Jackson, Rodney Hudson, and Denzel Good all cleared protocols. Again, good news for the Raiders. You want more numbers? The Raiders are 3-14 after a bye since 2003. The last time they won such a game was against the Texans in 2016. Carr and those alongside him have been better than good so far, ranking 6th across the NFL in total offense and 5th in yards per game. They can and have moved the ball, but Tampa Bay allows just 64.3 yards rushing per game. That's it. And for a Raiders attack that has run for 131 yards on average, it's essential that Josh Jacobs and Devontae Booker hold their own today. So what ultimately happens in this once primetime game that is now an afternoon kickoff? Listen, I'm just 2-3 so far this season making my picks here, which makes this one seem not so sensible. Come on now. I'm not known as the mush for nothing. Raiders 24, Tampa Bay 20. I'm Ed Graney, and those are my hot takes. Don't bet on them.
I did not see that coming from our Ed Graney. More when we come back. Vegas Nation is going to take a quick break. Stay right there.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz, your weekly show for all things Raiders.
I'm being completely honest here. I'm tired of being disrespected. So there was no question I was going to play this year.
From practice to game day.
We look more dynamic. We look more hungry.
My goal is to catch at least 60 balls this year.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Get the Vegas Nation podcast 3 days a week. All things Raiders, all week long. The Vegas Nation podcast, powered by the Las Vegas Review Journal. Now 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Raiders analysis.
Mark Davis looking out for the fans.
Interviews.
How do you look at this season coming up?
I'm going to be a much better player.
NFL talk.
The Cowboys are not a legit contender
on paper,
either.
They are, my friend.
They're not.
Find all our podcasts on VegasNation.com and hit subscribe. Raiders, fast takes, smart coverage.
The Road Ahead is sponsored by the Richard Harris Law Firm. Just in case. Injured? Call 444-4444. Cassie Soto here with you, back with Sam Gordon, and the Road Ahead will take the Raiders to the shore of Lake Erie, Sam, well, they will face off next Sunday against the Cleveland Browns.
Solid team this year, right? 4-2 so far. They can run the ball. Kareem Hunt looks fantastic, replacing the injured Nick Chubb, but this team is prone to turnovers. Baker Mayfield will throw you the ball. If you are in position to catch it, you can take it the other way. Just loss
Thanks,
to
Cassie.
San Diego
Vegas
State
Nation
in
crew
San
back
Diego
with
State.
you here from Allegiant Stadium, and here's what we're looking forward to in the game. For me, with Jonathan Abram out, I think we're going to have to look and see what happens with Jeff Heath as well as Isaiah Johnson to step up, and also activated to the secondary, we have Dylan Mabin. So it's going to be an interesting mix of people here in the backfield, and I'm curious to see how that plays out. Vinny, what is up for you?
Well, obviously the offensive line is going to be a fascinating subplot, but short of that, defensively, the Raiders are going to have to come up with an answer for Rob Gronkowski, and I think Corey Littleton's going to play a big role in that. He's got to play bigger than he is. He has experience. He played against Rob Gronkowski in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. It didn't work out all that well, especially in the last drive that the Patriots basically won the Super Bowl on. But I think Corey Littleton with his quickness and his range is going to be able to outmuscle, leap Gronkowski on some balls. He's going to have to, and he's got to play a physical football game to deal with big Rob Gronkowski.
All right, Vinny, Ed, what do you have for us in store for this game?
We've talked about it all morning. Josh Jacobs has to have a good game. He's averaging under 4 yards a carry. He's going against the best run defense in Tampa Bay. Josh Jacobs has to step up.
All right, that'll do it for us here from Allegiant Stadium. Back to you in the studio.
Heidi, thank you. Sam, let's get your final thoughts on today's game.
Obviously a huge matchup. The Raiders have the offensive firepower, but I think Tampa's defense is the best they faced this year. As we talked about, they can stop the run, they can rush the passer, and they can cover down the field. Can Derek Carr take advantage of the rare mistakes that defense does make? And then defensively, do the Raiders have enough on defense to stop Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Ronald Jones, Chris Godwin, all those guys? I don't know. I'm not sure. It is a fascinating matchup. I think Tampa Bay has the better team, but the Raiders handled the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the defending Super Bowl champions. So I'm not writing them off by any stretch of the imagination. But this Tampa is one of the most complete teams in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. They're going to have to make Tom Brady uncomfortable, and they're going to have to find out ways to get the ball down the field against one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the entire NFL.
All right, we will see what happens. Thank you so much for staying with us here on this episode of Vegas Nation Game Day. We'll see you hopefully at halftime. Follow us at Vegas Nation Facebook. We'll bring you your halftime and post-game updates. For Sam Gordon, I'm Cassie Soto. Thanks for watching.